It was a very, very bad Friday for Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson, who faced a number of questions about her lack of experience on the job that became very apparent following a mass shooting at the Bite of Seattle. This segment is brought to you in partnership with our friends at Future 42. Turn your frustration into action at future42.org. Make sure you sign up for their newsletter to be alerted to opportunities to do just that. So, of course, mass shooting at the Bite of Seattle, immediately the city's response falls short. It took about 5 hours for the mayor and for the police department to offer any sort of briefing of the media. And there had been a lot of pressure on them all week to explain why. How could this have happened? There were a number of misinformation given out right away, a lack of information given out right away, 48 hours to even inform the public that there is a third or potentially fourth shooter on the loose. We don't even know what they look like. And so I will give so much credit to the local media because they really stepped up in that moment and asked a lot of difficult questions. So we broke the news, I believe it was overnight on Wednesday, that Chief Sean Barnes was out, that Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson had basically given him an ultimatum, either you resign or you be fired. And I said I thought that he should be fired for his treatment of a member of the press who was asking him legitimate questions and who he, squared up to and berated. I thought that makes him unfit. But there's also this question of, did Seattle's mayor, fire him or ask him to resign because she's trying to, look like a leader who can make decisive decisions, or try to use him as a fall guy? So the news comes out officially Thursday. He's gone. He opted to resign, probably to get a very generous severance package. And then Katie Wilson had a press conference, flanked by, the command staff of the police department. So I went to this press conference on Friday. You guys, it was brutal. I mean, there were moments where Katie Wilson looked like she was about to cry. So I want to play just a couple of the moments. And again, a lot of credit to the press. So Chris Daniels of Como News has some quotes from city council members that are absolutely brutal about Katie Wilson's lack of leadership. So he sits there at length and reads to her face what the council members 3 floors down are saying about her.
Mayor, this is obviously the biggest decision you've made during your term. The council is not here. The council is not standing behind you. The council, as you know, has criticized, and I want to get down to their exact words. Joy Hollingsworth, the council president, called this move irresponsible and it's a tad bit reckless. Deborah Juarez says the emergent issue is this: you do not fire your chief of police in the middle of a murder investigation. What we're seeing under this administration, her words, are more than just gaffes or missteps. I see a complete lack of leadership, and for some of us, no confidence in this administration. This has reached a level where we have to have a serious conversation about the confidence we have in this executive. So this is your chance to respond to the council. Why should the city of Seattle and this council have confidence in your leadership going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll repeat what I said to one of your colleagues here, which is that I respect their differences of opinion. And as the mayor, as the executive of the city, I do have a different window into our police department than they do. And I'm making the decision that I believe is best and urgent at this time for our police department and for this city.
And she kept saying, I have a different window into the police department. And it's like, okay, explain then? Because she would not say definitively why she asked Chief Barnes to resign. And she just kept using, I have a window into the police department that you all don't have. It's like, okay, well, we don't have anywhere to go. We don't have anywhere to be. Tell us what this window is. And there's a lot of factors. Okay, well, again, we don't have anywhere to be. Tell us what those factors are. And so somebody clearly gave her that line, just say you have a different window into the police department. And she just kept repeating it. But Chris Daniels reading those quotes from council members out loud to her face, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I just wanted some popcorn with me in there. Natalie Swaby of King 5 News, another moment that stands out to me. The president of the police union is in there, standing up behind Katie Wilson. And look, I think that's about, showing solidarity and, for police, and that, hey, we're all going to try to move on together. And then Natalie Swaby of King 5 reads a statement to Katie Wilson's face about what the police union president, who's standing right there, said about her.
Statement that came out yesterday afternoon from the Police Officers Guild. It just said that with your administration, there's been confusion, mixed messages, and chaos surrounding Barnes, and that public safety does not seem to be your priority. I want you to just address that. What would you say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say again that there were really good reasons why we weren't able to offer information about Chief Barnes and our path forward until we had actually finalized those agreements and decisions. And as soon as we did that, we sent out a release yesterday and planned this press conference.
Yeah, again, she says, really, there were really good reasons we didn't communicate anything. Then, okay, tell us what the really good reasons are. We're all gathered here for this exact purpose. So there were a lot of questions like that, sort of beating around the bush about the issue, which is she's a Nepo baby who's had no real job experience in her life, and she's crumbling under the pressure. So I got a chance to ask Mayor Katie Wilson a question, and here's what I asked her. There have been a lot of questions in the room today about your relative lack of experience. It's something that was brought up on the campaign trail. Black community leaders brought it up yesterday. As Chris alluded to, council members have brought it up as well. You're 7 months into the job. What can you say to community members who are concerned that you have not, at this point, shown the leadership capability to run this city for 3 more years?
I'll just say I'm working with a great team, and I believe that we are making the right decisions for this city.
Oh my gosh. What do you say to people who say you can't do this job and you can't last possibly 4 more years? I got a great team. I mean, I don't know what you say to a question like that, but that's probably not how I would answer it. And maybe she needs to be a little humble, I guess, and just say, look, yeah, this is a really tough job. I'm 7 months in. I'm still learning. I've got good people around me and all of this, but I've got this. And voters trusted me when they elected me. Something, anything. But I mean, she was so close to tears, you guys. So close to tears. And I really struggle to see a path forward for her for 3.5 more years. I mean, you know, there are going to be challenges that are worse than what happened at Bite of Seattle, where more lives are lost. And I think of all the, tragedies Seattle has dealt with over the years. God forbid. And maybe there'll be some lessons from this, but it's just all a disaster. And then because Chief Barnes opted to resign, and his resignation letter was like one line to Mayor Katie Wilson, I think he played this smart by telling people, oh, she fired me, and having members of the Black community go to her office to try to pressure, because then this way he got a bigger severance package. Jeremy Harris with Como News was the first to get his hands on this resignation agreement. And oh my gosh, this man's getting a lump sum of $600,000, which equates to 18 months of his salary just to go away. He gets to keep his $50,000 signing bonus. He gets to keep his $60,000 relocation benefit, to which I say, you got a $60,000 relocation benefit? You didn't move your family here? Because, of course, one of the other issues was he was keeping, one toe dipped in the water in Chicago, hoping to get the chief of police job there, which, by the way, is going to continue to be an issue because the deputy chief of police, Andre Sales, has been made the interim police chief. And for the record, I have heard great things about both of the deputy chiefs, Yvonne Underwood and Andre Sales, from rank and file officers that think both of them would be a good choice for that job. But Andre Sales, and I've met him, again, really nice guy. It has nothing to do with him as a person or a police officer. He has a place in Chicago as well. And he said during the press conference, my wife and I love it here. We want to, put down roots here. We have some kids that we're looking to sort of, get through this period in their life, which I totally understand. So I'm glad he was transparent about that. But then on the other hand, Yvonne, she's been with SPD for decades and clearly has deep ties to the community. And so I just wonder, is Mayor Wilson really going to go down the path of, unless Andre Sales, immediately selling my place in Chicago, I'm moving here, we're buying a house, we're going to put down roots. So then we're going to do this whole thing all over again, where one of the chief criticisms of Sean Barnes would then apply to the new person who's going to be the chief of police. So just some continuing issues going on. But Mayor Wilson, I was texting with a progressive politician over the weekend, who I shall not name. I wish they were brave enough to let me name them, but who said that they said she's just really not enjoying the job. And they believe that she's going to fake some sort of illness or some sort of family emergency to resign. That's what their prediction is. And that's how bad things have gotten. And she doesn't have a communications person right now. Their communications director, or her communications director, resigned. I almost feel so bad for her that I want to apply for that job. They'd have to pay me like $2 million a year for me to give all this up to go do it. But I'm almost like, I feel that bad for her because the city is just under the leadership of a woman child. And I don't know where we go from here. That segment has been brought to you in partnership with our friends at Future 42. Turn your frustration into action at future42.org. Make sure you sign up for their newsletter to be alerted to opportunities to do just that.